In the almost 20 years since Sonic Adventure 2's release, there hasn't been another game quite like it, and I don't think there ever will be. Before the release of Sonic Mania, Sonic Adventure 2 had the highest rating for a Sonic game, and it was very well deserved. It was Sega's second attempt at a 3D Sonic game that pretty much built off everything from Adventure 1, and introduced new characters and had a story that was arguably the best in the series. But if SA2 was so good, why did almost every other game after it fail? It's well known how bad the series got from 2006 to 2009. The Dark Age of Sonic wasn't fun, and even to this day some people still bring it up to explain why Sonic is cringe. And apart from some good titles like Unleashed, Colors, and others, Sonic games really fell apart since SA2. It took up not even a Sonic team-made game for there to be another praised entry in the series. So what went wrong? Why is Sonic Adventure 2 so highly praised, and why hasn't there been anything like it since? 2001 marked Sonic's 10th anniversary, along with the deadline for the Dreamcast's death inching closer and closer. Sega at the time was in a rough place with the gaming industry. Two new competitors, Sony and Microsoft, are pretty much beating up Sega's console with their sales. Oh, and of course Nintendo as well. Sega was more than aware that the scene was changing and that it would be a better idea to just pack everything up and become third party. So they became third party. But with Sonic's 10th anniversary, they knew they had to do something special before they stopped supporting the system. Thus came Sonic Adventure 2, the last Sonic game on Sega's last console. With all this in mind, it's easy to tell Sega was gonna go all out on this sequel, and boy, they sure did. Sonic Adventure 2 is the best Sonic game, and you can't convince me otherwise. As their second try in 3D, it's 10 times better than the first. Don't get me wrong, Sonic Adventure 1 is a fun game, and it is good, but its chance to show itself to a bigger audience fell flat with the DX port. The disaster that was the DX port was so bad that it literally has to have a mod created by fans downloaded to work properly. Which is a shame and almost tainted the legacy that SA1 had going for it. So after that blunder, Sega had to show that a 3D Sonic game can work to a third-party demographic. And did they succeed? Probably. Controlling characters in this game is great. You got Sonic and Shadow, who are the fastest and in my opinion the most fun to play as. Knuckles and Rouge are treasure hunters and their flying mechanics are really well done. Tails and Eggman are mechs which take inspiration from Gamma's gameplay in the first game. Trying to lock onto as many targets as possible when playing as these two to get the highest score is always fun. And Amy...
I hate you! You guys always leave me behind and have all the fun!
Has alright gameplay. All the playable characters in SA2 are fun to play as, and mostly mirrored versions of each other. But they still have problems. I swear, Sonic uses B for every breath he takes. Saying button syndrome is a common complaint with Sonic games, and man, I can see why. With just B, you can either bounce, fire attack, do light speed dash, or charge up in a flurry attack on enemies. Every time I come across something in a game that requires you to use one of these, I start playing like my life depends on it. Because if I make one wrong move, then it can either turn out like this or like this. Tails and Eggman are slow, and jumping with them feels pathetic. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I mean, they are mechs after all. But when it comes to Knuckles and Rouge...
Why are you so upset?
Playing as them, I have no problem with, but the camera while playing as them is a pain. A big fun annoying part of this game I hate is its camera, and the problems with it shine when playing as these two. And the levels Death Chamber and Mad Space are probably my least favorite levels in the game. But then again, you can't trust a guy who has 30 minutes on one of them. And while we are on levels, this game has a lot of great ones. Each has its own theme and look, but oh man. Oh man! SA2 levels are fun, but they also fucking suck. Sometimes, I'm scared of living because I have the thought of a surprise bullshit enemy coming from nowhere to kill me! This game is littered with surprise enemies and I do not live for it. In fact, I'm already dead because of it, goddammit! Anyway, let's talk about character in this game. Sonic, a cool laid-back kind of guy while still getting serious when needed. Tails, a big-brain fox and pretty much carrying his team for the whole story. And Shadow, a very fleshed-out villain with a unique backstory that grows as the game goes on. And more. Everyone gets their own moment to shine for the story, and development of each of them is just... One of my favorite parts of this game is how everyone interacts with each other in cutscenes. From the best buds and heroes story to the almost everyone hates each other of the dark story. Cutscenes show the best part of this game for me, even if they are kind of dumb.
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon.
The hatch doors are
Don't
open.
sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
Master
mean, don't
Emeralds.
sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no! Don't touch that lever! Whoa!
Apart from all the dumb stuff this game offers, most of it gets cancelled out by the really good things about it, which is why I always have a nice time when coming back to it. But as time passed, it was shown that maybe the game was a little too good. Sonic Adventure 2 had everything you could want in a Sonic game, but it's one of the reasons why it can never truly be replicated. I lightly touched on some aspects I enjoy about it and some I didn't, but there's so much more about it that makes it a classic. Character in this game was the best in the series for me. From Eggman's more intimidating attitude and wider scale plans, Rouge and Knuckles' relationship with each other, to Shadow's character development. Shadow's appearance in this game is amazing. It shows how, ignoring the edge part of Shadow, you can tell he's a very layered antagonist. Part of this game's take on Shadow that hasn't been shed in other entries is his fragility as a character. He's killed a lot of people and has a dark type of development to him, but his memories of Maria and life in the Ark convey that Shadow is almost like a child with how little he knows about his surroundings. When he discovers at the end of the game that his memories were false about Maria that push him to seek revenge, he sheds a tear. Shadow sheds a tear. After this game, Shadow got his own standalone entry that really just shat on everything he went through in the past games. It had bad control, bad storyline, and is more than likely responsible for people giving Shadow the label of being an edgelord. Which sucks, cause he really didn't used to be. Another thing that was special about this game was its side content. There was plenty of it to the point where some people boot up the game just to play things like the Child Garden. The replayability was insane, but nothing really ever matched up to it. Sonic games after SA2 in general never matched up to its magnitude. We got good titles like Unleashed, Heroes, and Generations, but it was never really the same. I just can't shake off the feeling that Sega really changed on the Sonic team side of things. We got less and less amounts of enveloping stories and gameplay, and the horrifying tale of 06 really damaged their reputation. Some people started to look down upon Sonic games as a whole to the point where the series in itself just became a big joke. Even to Sega it did. With self-aware jokes being rampant of this age of Sonic games, and Sega putting more or less effort into new titles. Even the most highly acclaimed Sonic game in years, Mania, was made by fans and not the official devs. When it came to things about the game that were complained about, like the lack of new zones, most of it was to blame on Sonic Team. When Sega released Sonic Adventure 2, they really meant it as being the magnum opus of the series and went all out on it. But what they didn't know was the absolute size of expectations that came along with it. If this game was so good, then the rest are just as good, is what can come to mind after playing it. But in reality, it was really one of a kind. Sega raised the bar for their sequel and second attempt at a 3D Sonic game, but didn't realize how high they ended up raising it, and by the time they noticed, it was to the point where it became unreachable. My favorite part about Sonic Adventure 2 is its ending. After Sonic and Shadow defeat the Bio Lizard, Shadow dies from using all of his energy in super form. Sonic comes back on board and lets everyone know that Shadow is nowhere to be seen, and everyone on board start having conversations with each other on what has happened. Sonic and Rouge talk about Shadow's goals and that in the end, he was a hero. Eggman tells Tails that he looked up to his grandfather and how he feels hurt over the fact that he tried to kill him. Tails, being the 8-year-old he is, says something completely off topic that actually puts Eggman at ease. Knuckles asks Rouge if she's going to keep searching for jewels, to which he replies no, and that she has other things on her mind to do. Like Knuckles. Sonic stays alone thinking about what Shadow did as Amy comes in and asks him what he's doing. Sonic shades off her question and tells her that they should just go back home in his usual laid-back style. But before he leaves the room, he takes one last look back and says a goodbye to Shadow, the Hedgehog. It seems like this really made Adventure 2 an adventure for me. All these characters is talking to each other after they were at odds is really sweet. It's something I really feel Sonic games have lost after all this time. Maybe someday when we get the fabled Sonic Adventure 3 or Sonic Adventure remakes, we can see this revisited. But with the moment Sonic Team is in, the future does seem unsure. It makes you ask what will happen for the future of the series. And in the words of Tails, I say,
I don't know, but what I do know is we all did it together!
You're right.